when I lost my virginity. I met him 6th grade that summer or whatever, and I remember Pierre Harvey coming by because I started writing music for P Diddy, and P Diddy liked the music, but Pierre Harvey was coming by, and at first he was nice and he was paying me too. But I remember one time he came in, like, he got snatched a book out of my hand and he didn't pay me my money. And then he came back another time and he had a big phone. And like back then the cell phone was like real big and thick. He had a big thick ass cell phone, and he was telling me that P Diddy wanted to meet me or whatever. He wanted me to come to his flavor camp for 48 hours. So he told me to ask my grandmother, could I go? I asked my grandmother, she said no. And at the time, my mother was on drugs. I was all like, I was mad at her because I'm like, I want to be famous, I want to be rich or whatever. I want to be famous. He gonna make me a singer, but we gonna be rich. He's saying that I got potential to be like the next Michael Jackson. Is basically what the nigga was telling me. And she said no. So when he called on the phone, I was like, she said no, I gotta ask my mama. She was being funny, like, ask your mama. But she knew my mama wasn't around. So I told them that, and they was like, we'll take you, go find your mom. And I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah. So when they came back, I was expecting P Diddy to be outside, but P Diddy wasn't outside. Pierre Harvey was outside, and he picked me up. When I got to the car, he was all like, he put P Diddy on the phone because I was like skeptical about getting in the car. So he had to call P Diddy for me to hear his voice. And once I heard his voice, I got in the car. And then when I got in the car, I remember him like, eat the candy, eat the jelly beans. I think I had on pink that day. Pink, like a shirt. And I had Bobos in my head. And he was like, eat the candy, eat the candy. And some said don't eat the candy, but then he was like being real persistent. Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat the candy, try it. These are new jelly beans. We just invented these with jelly beans. And when I ate the jelly bean, I was like, this is nasty. And I was spitting it out. And as I spit it out, I was like, I want to get out the car. And he slammed the door, and then he got in the car. And I remember being out of there. And I remember them putting me on the jet and them saying, damn, this little heavy. I remember him being like, wake up, wake up. I remember waking up. I remember my ear popping, and I remember my stomach dropping on the airplane. It was just us. I'm calling it airplane. That's what I called it back then, but it was a jet. I remember getting there to the studio. I'm out of there asleep on the couch. I remember Asian man or Chinese man being there, and he was all like, you did this to my son. I'm going to the police. Like, you did this to my son. He's in the hospital. And he was all like, if I was you, I wouldn't say nothing or whatever. You're going to end up dead. And like, the man looked terrified when he said that. You know, I don't give about you going to the police. And I'm going in and out. I remember looking on the pool table, and it was a lady getting on the table. I thought she was Mexican, but she was the Arabian lady that was Miss Gloria Alvarez. I saw her getting on the table, but I was like I was conscious, but I was coherent, but I couldn't move. And then I remember being like, I'm thirsty. I remember him giving me something to drink, and I remember it tasted nasty, and him laughing and him doing his little dance talking about welcome to the flavor camp in my face or whatever. And then I remember coming to, and he was telling me, asking me if I smoke, if I drink. I told him no, and he was telling me basically I can't turn down anything that he offers me. I have to do it. I remember him giving me a tour of the place and him giving me the camera. I remember him like trying to make me feel comfortable, and he was like complimenting and saying, oh, she got a nice ass. I felt so uncomfortable. He was like, don't she got a nice body? Her ass is nice. I remember that. I remember him telling me to get the camera and to take pictures. He took pictures of me, and like when I took a picture and I'm like in front of the thing, I'm taking pictures like this, and I took a picture of the bed. That was me. I just took a picture of the bed. He was like, go walk around. I put my phone on do not disturb. He was like, go walk around, and he told me to take pictures. And I remember taking pictures of the bed, like take pictures or whatever. And I remember taking a picture of the bedroom. I took a picture in the studio, and he was like recording me. And I also I'm just going in and out, in and out. I don't know. He offered me something else, and I passed out. But then I remember being in that room with him, and he was all like being extra touchy with me, and I was like, yeah. I started feeling like he was a creep, but I was still like going along with it. And he was like, "What kind of you like?" Like he was asking me about me being molested. And I was honest with him, and I told him about stuff, because he was like the stuff that I was writing. I had to be like, they was asking me, have I ever been molested? Have I ever had sex? And I was like, yeah, knowing I was a virgin. I've been molested, but I never been penetrated. Um, he asked me what kind of cocks I like, and I was like, real big cocks. I like big cocks, real big cocks. And he sent Roger Bonds to go buy a pink dildo. And I remember waking up, looking in the mirror. I look in the mirror and I see P. Diddy behind me. And I know when I was in the room, he took my virginity on that bed. And I remember screaming and hurting, but I had to take that. I had to take it. But then after that, I remember I just woke up again. I'm in the bathroom, bent over the sink. I'm yelling, but I guess I'm not making noise. I don't know. But I'm yelling, it hurt. Please stop. I'm weak. I can't move. And he's giving me or whatever. He turned me around, kissed me in my mouth, and was like, I'm not going to hurt you. But he was hurting me. And he turned me back over. And when he stuck it in my, he told me pinch his nipples and all type of crazy shit. He kissed me in my mouth. And he turned me back over, and I passed out again when he stuck it in my ankles. And the pain stopped. And then I was relieved. And then I felt the pain again. And when I woke up, it was Pierre Harvey behind me. And he stuck it in my hands. And I remember looking and yelling, no, stop. And I happened, the Jewish guy was behind Pierre, like on the side. It was like in his bathroom at that studio. It was like a restroom stall in there. I remember, and then after he finished, I remember P. Diddy I was asking the Jewish guy to help me because I know he just had a baby, and I was looking at him for help. And he was all like, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. And he was like, if you don't fuck her, I'm going to fuck you. So the dude got behind me and his stuff was soft. But he was like acting like he was doing it with me. And then like I wasn't yelling, I wasn't screaming like I was. So then Diddy kind of pushed him back. But Diddy had told that man if he didn't do it to me, he was going to kill him. That man, hurry up, got naked. And I remember Diddy pushing him out the way, and Pierre pushed him out the way. I remember Pierre smoking crack out of like a crack pipe. I don't know if it was crack. I don't know what the was in it, but a crack pipe is where it's circle. It's not. It's he was smoking out of that, and I remember him making me give him head. And like I was using my teeth and everything. He slapped me upside my head, and he was all like, "Don't use your teeth." But I couldn't breathe, and like he was just gagging me with his dick. It was just so like their dicks were just so big. I remember after that it was like a break in between, but then I remember looking to my left and P. Diddy's in the doorway with like one of them old school cameras, and he's sitting there jacking off and sitting in a chair in the doorway of the restroom. I remember passing out, waking back up, being over the sink, and this nigga sticking the champagne bottle in. I was like yelling at that point. I know I was yelling at the top of my lungs, and they just had me so hurt. They left me in their restroom, and I don't know how long I was in that restroom, but my legs and stuff wouldn't work. And some white guy came and got me out the restroom. This white guy, when he smiled, he has a smile like Garfield. He picked me up, and I was like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And he was like, I'm gonna take you home. I got you. I'm gonna take you home. So they put me back on the jet, and I wake up. I'm with some other white girls, like we all teenagers. They were a little bit older than me. I wake up with them, and like at first it wasn't like it was fun, but then they disappeared from me, and it was me by myself. And I remember being drugged the whole time, and I remember them drugging me so much, and they wanted me to feel the pain, and they had my hand over the stove. I remember waking up screaming. This was a fat white guy. He kind of hunchback, got a pointy nose. This fat white guy, he was just passing me to different white men, and and to a point they all started looking the same to me. God, I'm trying to take my time, Lord. Okay, it's just the memory that I think it's the memory, and it's like every time I think about it, it's like I relive it, and I'm there and I see it. My body can't move, but I'm there, and I don't know what days it was. I don't know the time, like, you know what I'm saying? I just know it was daylight, or I know if it was hot. I remember them having me in the summertime, and I remember being there in the cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was there, like, it was horrible. It was horrible. It was so horrible. I can't describe how horrible it was. After that happened, it's like it goes in and out. I remember trying to escape. I remember the brown children. I remember it got like it was like until I know I made it through the barbed wire fence, because I'm like, damn, I thought I was in the jungle, because they kept telling me, you're in the jungle, so I didn't know where the fuck I was at. I stabbed her in her left side of her shoulder, like right here. This is where I stabbed her, right there. And no, it's not allegedly. It really happened. This up. Yes, I was young, and yes, I pulled out a grown man out of a burning place. You hear me? And I jotted for the woods, and I was lost in the woods. I died in the woods. God brought me back to life, and I just told God, just please kill me. I don't want to get away. I'm hungry. I was in the woods. I don't know how long I was in the woods until I made it to the barbed wire fence and beat me up. I was already beat up because before I made it to the woods, they beat that damn deal inside of me. The deal he made Roger Bonds go by. He told that man go buy that deal. They beat that bill deal inside of me, and I don't know. I went to the highway. I made it through the barbed wire fence, and I'm like, damn, I thought I was in the jungle, because they kept telling me, you're in the jungle, so I didn't know where the fuck I was at. I'm thinking I done ran away from Africa to America. That's what I'm thinking in my kid mind. You know what I'm saying? And this is how I wrote my police report. This is how the first police report is written. You know what I'm saying? And I get to the barbed wire fence. I almost get hit by cars because it's the barbed wire fence. And then it was the freeway. And I collapsed on these trash bags. And some white man, I think his name was Samson, he picked me up. And he drove me from Miami and took me back to New York. And when I came in there, I would beat the fuck up. And they was like, who did this to you? And they tried to get the white man. I said, he didn't do it for me. He didn't do that to me. He saved my life. And he didn't take me to the police station in Miami because I was telling him that it was like the sheriffs, the people worked for the Miami police place was doing that to me. And I was telling him, he told the police did this to me because the nigga was around police. He was around a lot of elite white people. I was like, the police did this to me. So he said that he drove me from Miami and he drove me to New York. And I remember them taking my statement. I remember I remember lying about my age on the first time I told them I was 17 because I was scared. I don't know. I lied. And I remember I wrote the first statement. I wrote it and I tried to cover up stuff. But then I told them I had to use the restroom. And they was like, "No, you can't use the restroom." But before all this happened, they brought Mr. Williams in there because it was like, this is good. You're gonna want to hear this." And he was like, "Who did this to you?" And I was like, "P. Diddy." And I named other people that I was around. And he was all like, "Well, how old are you? Where your name? Where you from?" I lied, said I was Mexican. I lied and stuff and said I was from Michigan, and like I just made up a whole bunch of different stories. And I end up seizing out. And I told them I had to go to the restroom. They was like, "No, you can't use no restroom until you finish writing." And I ended up writing everything out, which was the truth. And I ended up seizing out. And I remember them rushing me. I remember Mr. Williams was with me the whole time. I remember I was in pain, so my whole body hurt. So I didn't know the difference. They did operations to remove something out of me. I felt the same way I felt before they did the operation. I remember him showing me the video, and I'm like, "That's not me." And it looked like they pulling the fucking intestines out of me. And it was that pink dildo all on it. And he was all, I was like, "That's not," I was like, "Ew, what is that?" I was horrified. And he was like, "This is you. Who did this to you?" And I went on and told him the truth. Diddy did this. I remember them having to sew me up and reconstruct my stuff down there. I didn't go straight home. He said, I can't send her home like this. He waited till that my big eye went down, but I didn't make it back home until October, November. I started the 7th grade, the second semester, and I started with my dad. I lived with him my second semester of school. I lived with my dad. I remember Mr. Williams being there with me, and like, he not gonna testify or be on my behalf, but I said I would never came forward if I never saw him on TV. You hear me? Because he is my angel. He is my angel. And God knows. God knows that man is my angel. And I'm not trying to be on here looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? I won't be on here looking crazy and crying and shit, looking ugly in the face. On here crying. Yeah. Everybody telling me not to speak, but just let them reveal my face. And like I'm telling people around me, if I wanted the money, I would have been and took the money. Like, they've been paying me money, and I've been living like I'm broke. See that guy? See that guy? See that way? God, we need God in this situation. We need God in this situation. And I have to get justice. Like, if I don't think I see a way, I won't sue nobody else, but we gotta get justice. I just have to get justice. I have to. I don't want to be talking and doing this interview and help him. I just need justice and I need help. They got my pictures out here. Who put my pictures out here? I was 13. I didn't turn 14 till the end of that year. I don't turn, like, my birthday is in December. So, like, right now I'm 33, but when January, after December, I'm going to be 34. Like, I always turn the same age at the end of the year. And I don't know who has it. I don't know who. They got the video of me being when I was gone with the white men. They were doing weird shit to me. Like, they beating me. This woman flat out my hair got me ready for this man named Joey. And they beating me. Got me strapped to a tree, and like, I just feel like I'm being bullied because they putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? Who would glorify this? This is nothing to glorify. And it's like everybody that's coming forth and they doing interviews. Everybody that's doing interviews has something to do with me. Everybody that's doing interviews has something to do with me. And I'm just sitting back and I'm just watching people. Like, I don't watch TV, listen to music no more, because everybody that you listen to, it hurt me. You understand what I'm saying? And Even if he was telling him I was 17, I was still underage. The fake age that people told me to say, like, I'm still underage. And this man had my mind gone because I was being abused at home, and I was thinking that this is how the world treats you. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking this is love. This you gotta do. You gotta do. He took my virginity. My mom was gone. I don't know. My mom was gone. My mom was gone because they were hunting me, baby.
I was around from 11 years old to about 15 years old. Had bore 2 kids. I'm not gonna say which one she believed are hers that he's been raising. My friend has had 2 kids for them that we're trying to figure out where the babies are. She the girl that they put on the private jet. They her with the jelly beans. They put on the private jet. They took her to the studio in New York and then had the nerve to dress her up in a D&G sweater, do her hair, put makeup on her, and take a picture like a trophy. She only 11 years old in that picture, and that's not allegedly. She wants a DNA on 2 of his kids because they took 2 babies out of her. They kept her locked up and they had her babies at the house. That's not allegedly.
Your friend, is she filing suit as well?
Yeah, she's Jane Doe right now. She's in the process.
Oh, great.
She remembers everything. Thank God certain things didn't happen to me. I didn't experience everything my friend did. Like, I didn't have 2 babies that were taken out of my stomach, but I don't know where they're at.
How old was the friend?
She stayed with him till 15 years old.
Oh, my God. And do you know how they managed to, and how they got a hold of her?
She was walking down the street at 11 years old, and they offered her jelly beans. Harvey Pierre, I believe, allegedly. And next thing she knew, she woke up in New York City. They had the nerve to put her on a private jet, flew her to New York City. She wasn't wearing that. She had barrettes and pigtails in her hair. They put a D&G sweatshirt on her, and get her hair dip and put makeup on her, and then put her on Diddy's lap and had the nerve to take a picture like a trophy. Like she was just like a stray rescue dog or something, like. And then that's the same girl that in the magazine is laying on the table with fruit and food and stuff off of her, and we all eating off of her. You don't think anybody's looking at that thinking that's a kid laying there. You're assuming it's a grown woman.
Are literally telling Kim Porter's kids they can go to HE double hockey sticks. If you guys don't know, Kim Porter's children, and let's just say it, Diddy's team, who for months were saying that Kim never had a diary, everything that was written and said about Kim is false. Well, guess what? They pretty much admitted it. It actually existed, and they moved the goalposts, changed the narrative. They said, okay, fine, there was something my mom wrote. There are things that was said, but guess what? You don't have a right to print them. We are sending you a cease and desist and immediately return all items to us because we own the estate. However, not to be outdone, Courtney Burgess, who is represented by Aria Mitchell, has fired back at Diddy's sons over the Kim Porter book. Interesting enough, it's only Quincy and Quincy and Justin that are suing. The daughters' names are off of this lawsuit, which lets you know that I think this adds more credibility, that this is Diddy's whole thing, and that he is running this campaign. And at the end of the day, Diddy can feel like he wants to do a lot of things to everybody else's daughters, but he keeps his daughters out of this mess. Anyway, let's get into this. This is directly from TMZ, so take it with a grain of salt. They said new Diddy witness fires back at Diddy's sons over Kim Porter book. They said the guy who's hawking a Kim Porter book allegedly based on her diary is taking shots at his legal battle with Diddy and Kim's sons and telling the boys they can screw off. Courtney Burgess and his attorney, Ariel Mitchell, fired off a nasty response to Christian and Quincy Combs after the brothers sent Burgess and Ariel Mitchell a cease and desist over alleged Porter tell-all. They said in a legal response obtained by TMZ, Courtney Burgess and Ariel Mitchell take issue with Christian and Quincy claiming he's trying to capitalize on Kim's hard-earned fame by selling Kim Porter Tell It All. And they say Kim was not an actor or entertainer, and her fame was solely tied to being Diddy's long-term girlfriend. TMZ goes on to say, cheap shots aside, and it was a cheap shot, but they said Courtney Burgess says he absolutely has the copyright to the book and says Kim gave him the rights before her death. Now, as TMZ reported, the brothers Grimm, the baby of Brandon's, the Combs brothers, say that they became the rightful heirs and owners of Kim's intellectual property rights following her November 2018 passing, and therefore her purported diary entries belong to them. However, Ariel Mitchell tells TMZ that Kim and Burgos and Courtney